Hey guys, you're tuned into Miles Addy's podcast. I'll be doing some more from now on, so stick around. Today's topic is going to be about the London riots, and I'm going to be sharing not only my views, but the views and opinions of others. And later on, I'll be interviewing people in and around South London, people in the music industry, and also a local reverend in South London about their views and what they think about the London riots. So stick around, it's going to be a good show. Having lived in a so-called deprived area for most of my life, I don't think rioters had any excuse as to what they were doing other than to loot. Many rioters claim to be getting back at their so-called oppressors, but if that isn't the real reason, then what is? Why are we setting out to destroy the areas we live in? Why aren't we trying to make positive changes to these areas? Now, living in an estate for the past 15 years of my life, I had every opportunity to go down the path of destruction, and unfortunately witnessed many young people go down that route. Many of these people were my close friends, and some people weren't. But even still, whether it was due to violence, hanging out on the streets, or selling drugs, many people fell astray. I don't think that I could call myself a role model, but I think that those who choose to loot and sell drugs can learn a lot from the people who have come out of these areas and have chosen not to go down the route of destruction, but instead have used these experiences to make their life better for themselves. Being young, black, and living in an estate as I was faced with all the things young black people are faced with today. Whether it's drugs, sex, violence, or ways to make quick money, I was faced with them, but I was able to avoid these things because I realized that they added no contribution to my life. And this is what we all need to wake up to. Anyway, moving on to other things, there are some interesting facts that came up about the London riots. And I don't know if you've heard this one, but this was one of my favourites. It was that 60% of riot charges came down to burglary. And with this in mind, some of the excuses made by rioters, such as we were getting our taxes back, are just laughable. In my opinion, this was merely a game played by the opportunist, and is nothing more than this. And this is where I think the entertainment industry has a lot to answer for. Personally, I feel that the hip-hop culture has contributed to the deterioration of young black people. Yes, there were people from all backgrounds that were involved, but you can't escape the fact that the riots were instigated by young black youths. But my question to you is why? Why do the music videos of people rapping about sex, cars, women and money have such an impact on the lives of young black people? I know it's not only me who's seen it, but for example, a music video where someone talks about their life in prison. Why does this appeal to young black people so much? More and more we see ourselves becoming slaves to material things, which is encouraged by these forms of media. Is the reason we are becoming a materialistic young black generation because of the relevance some media forms have to our lives, or is there something else behind this culture? I don't know about you, but I think it's fair to say that in this country, much like other places in the world, we can't seem to see past the smoke and mirrors of what's on the television or in the newspaper, or how much of an effect they really do have on our lives. Next, I'm going to be interviewing Tanya Foster from Roll Deep, and I'm going to be asking her what she thinks about the London riots, and if the entertainment industry has a role to play in the demise of youth culture in London. I'm lucky enough to be interviewing Tanya Foster from Roll Deep.
Woo! Hi!
Thanks for coming on the show.
It's alright.
Yeah, so I hear you guys have been working on your new album.
Yeah, new album's coming out next year. Kind of more or less finishing up everything now and getting the singles ready.
Oh, that's good. Glad to hear it.
Thank you.
I hear you were also filming a new video.
Yeah, we did that the other day in Marbella.
How was that?
It was amazing, on a boat and an amazing car. Haven't got a clue about cars, but it was an amazing one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
That's good. Good. Well, today I wanted to talk to you about the London riots that happened in July. We all know it was a very controversial subject, something that was shown all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's still being shown months later. I wanted to know just your views about it and like how the entertainment industry in particular has an impact on young black people.
Well, I was going to say, me and the boys, we were actually doing a show in Ibiza while the riots was going on, and we had no idea. And I was fairly lucky to kind of not have really seen that, especially in my area. But a couple of the boys, their area was kind of ruined, basically. But I think that for us, we're doing something really positive, and especially at the moment, as you can see, the urban scene is huge, absolutely huge. And I think, well, I'd hope it's giving youngsters and kind of everyone that's got nothing better to do some inspiration, you know, and just show that we can actually do something and, you know, do something great in the community. And especially for Roll Deep, we're always doing charity work and kind of working with young people and kind of giving them a chance and we get young people involved, even filming sometimes behind the scenes as well. But I'd hope that we're doing something positive. It's just a shame it's kind of happened.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. To be honest, there are a lot of good things about the music industry and young people getting involved.
Definitely.
But then there are also the negative aspects of that and how people can be portrayed in music videos. And nowadays, it's common for young people to kind of idolize the lifestyle of, people in music videos. And I just wanted to know what you thought about things like that and how the negative impact, how it can impact young people.
I completely agree. But what I think one good thing that Britain's doing, if you look at the British rap scene at the moment, especially the likes of Tiny, Tinchy, Labyrinth, Roll Deep, I think it's clear for people to see that we're pretty normal people, like down-to-earth people. I think that scene was very much the American scene, the guns, the gangsters and everything like that. But I think the UK scene, I think we're all kind of growing up from that now, moving on, and kind of that was then, and we've realised that we can do so much more than that. And I think there's people that have come to the forefront in pop. Like I said, Tiny, I mean, he's a brilliant example. He's a dude, he wears geek glasses and he, raps about positive things. So I think times are changing.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to say that I can't really blame it all on the entertainment industry.
You can't.
I can't at all, no, I can't.
It's not our fault, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but so what do you think really started off the riots? In my opinion, it was just an opportunist game. Just there were people just in it because, they had the opportunity to steal. So
do you know what I think? It's exactly that, and I think from looking back, it was every nationality. It wasn't kind of like, okay, it started off maybe in a predominantly black area, but as you could see, it was completely looting. It was just opportunists wanting to rob. It started off something really small and probably something quite good and what people believed in. And yeah, like you said, people just took the mick basically and went crazy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Next, I'll be interviewing the Reverend Ray from the True Vine Church in Croydon, South London, and I'll be asking him about his opinions on the London riots. Now I have been joined by the Reverend Ray Jan from the True Vine Church in South London. Thank you for joining the show.
You're welcome.
I was just interested really in your take on the London riots that happened this year.
Okay, obviously it's been something that has shaken our communities to the core because prior to the riot, we can say that none of us expected anything like this to have happened. But it's also been a wake-up call for us across the community. I think that one of the things that was clear in viewing the riots was people's avid desire for material pursuits and the way they broke into shops and took the latest gadgets, and TVs and DVDs and all these other things, and that kind of showed that this was a latent passion of their hearts or a desire of their hearts that was unleashed. So that's one thing I'll say about the surprise of it.
That is a very valid point because there has been a lot of talk about the way young people, especially young black people, are growing up in society, and having single mothers as parents, whether stuff like that is affecting the way young people are growing up. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, I think the issue is not just having a single parent. I think the issue is having the right support structure in place, because single parenthood is not always a choice. Sometimes it's a consequence of unforeseen circumstances, but that need not be the end of the story. I think that when you are within a community like the church, which should have a support structure to help bring up children within a community, then parenting doesn't become a sole responsibility. The saying is that it takes two people to bring up to produce a child, but it takes a community to raise up the child. So I think as a church, we need to look at how we support our single parents, and we provide role models where role models are absent for the young ones. That's one of the ways in which we can look at it.
Another question I wanted to ask you is concerning more the entertainment industry and the role it has to play in how young people behave, and just really your opinions on that.
Yeah, well, whether we like it or not, the entertainment ministry is attractive. And by the fact that it's attractive, it it sets itself up as a model for people to look at and follow. And so many of our artists have become role models for our young people, and people are looking to them as icons to follow. Unfortunately, the flip side of that is that there's an unrealistic lifestyle that has been portrayed, and which has been falsely portrayed as what should be the aspirations of young people. So what you see is that a lot of young people looking at the MTVs and all these other programs and seeing these artists and seeing their lifestyle and of course their disposable income, want to pursue that life without looking at the consequence to the journey that gets people there. They see it as something I want to have and I want to have it now. So yes, the industry, I think, has created a false aspiration in one sense for our young people.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Final question, I think, is where do you see us as a nation going from here? Do you think that it's likely more riots will happen, or is there a way that they can be stopped?
Well, I hope not. I mean, I think I speak for everybody when I say, or the majority of us when I say that I hope we never see anything like this again. But that is on condition that we learn at the various levels of our society from what has happened, where we've gone wrong, and what each of us can contribute to remedying this problem. I think that, if I may speak from the church's perspective, we do have a role and a responsibility towards young people to get them to relook at themselves and their values in life, and whether those values are worth, aspiring to, and the cost, whether it's worth it.
So, in your opinion, is it down to the church to help turn things around, or are there other ways that this matter can be resolved?
I think the church is a partner. It's not the sole solution. The church must partner with other agencies, to do that, because the church is not the only agency or organization within society. I think that government, local government and government needs to look at its investment into young people and look at the opportunities they have. And I think that also those who have influence in society need to look at the kind of role models that they are and the kind of impression. Because at the end of the day, if you create false expectations, it comes back to haunt all of us. You may not directly be affected, but when the economy is affected, it affects you.
Thank you very much.
You're
Some
welcome.
very valid points. Thank you very much for joining the show.
You're welcome.
Today we've heard two very contrasting opinions about the riots. I'm sure this is a topic that will be discussed for many years to come, but unfortunately this is all we have time for today. Until the next time, bye.